Some of you may know this already, but I did see Return of the Jedi on its original run back in 1983 at the General Cinema at the now defunct Six Flags Mall. But when I heard there was a re-release, and my friend Jerry from the old Switched On podcast called me up and said, "Hey, do you want to go see it?" I was like, yes. So he and his son, me and my wife, we went and watched it at the Cinemark in West Plano and the XD screen at Cinemark, which was fantastic. And yeah, I just really wanted to talk about my experiences and some of the things that I'd never noticed before. Now, just to let you know, I won't be showing any video clips because the last thing I need is Disney coming after my channel. So I will be showing some screen caps, trying to illustrate my point here. But there were some things that I'd never picked up on before. I'd never noticed before, and one line in particular where I was like, "Wow, I'd never thought about the meaning behind this line." But we'll get to that. So first up, right at the beginning. So Leia gets Han out of the carbonite, and the curtain opens up, and Jabba's back there with all his guys, and they're like, "Hey, we were just fooling, we were hiding." But I never noticed that there's an alien with his hand over C-3PO's mouth, so he doesn't say anything. I'd never noticed that before, and if you look at this screenshot, it's kind of blurry. It's not really easy to see. But on this huge screen, it was easy to make it out. And I'm like, I can't believe after literally 40 years of watching this movie, I've never noticed that before. Now, this is a weird one. I think most people, most Star Wars fans, I should say, like hardcore Star Wars fans, have already known that the character of Rex, Captain Rex from the Clone Wars, is supposedly in Return of the Jedi. Dave Filoni had come out and said, yes, this white bearded guy, on the during the Battle of Endor, yeah, that's Rex. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of cool. And I've seen him before and all that stuff. But what I didn't notice is that when the trap is sprung and everybody's being, Han and Chewie and Leia and everybody's been brought out from the shield generator, there's a shot of the people that had already been kind of captured, and Rex is there in a stormtrooper outfit. And it's one of those weird things where I'm like, is there a story there? Like maybe he's talking to one of the other rebels and he's like, I never thought I'd be in one of these these suits of armor again, just something. I don't know, it was just kind of a cool thing that I didn't notice before. Return of the Jedi has my favorite single shot in all of Star Wars, and it's when they're on the little what do you call it, the skiff, and R2 shoots the lightsaber over, and the shot of Luke catching it, looking at it, igniting it, and then looking over and ducking. It's my favorite shot in all of Star Wars. It's such a cool shot. And if you can kind of put yourself in the frame of mind, it's 1983. We've never seen we've never seen the movie before, and he lights that lightsaber, and holy crap, it's green. I can't tell you what that meant, to me as a little kid, Star Wars fan, all this stuff. But it was just such a cool shot too. It's so much movement in this movie that like I said, I think the direction is fantastic in this movie, and that shot just it's my favorite. It's my favorite shot. Now here's the line that I'm talking about. So the whole, Yoda and Luke, they're in the hut and they're having this discussion, right? And Luke asks, "Is Darth Vader my father?" And Yoda's like, hey, no, what are you doing? Man, I'm tired. Aren't you? Aren't you tired? It's kind of a funny little thing. And he says, "Yoda, I must know." And he goes, "Your father, he is." And then he goes, "Told you, did he?" And Luke says, "Yes." And Yoda says, "Unexpected this is, and unfortunate." Unfortunate because, of the reasons that he explains, but he doesn't explain the unexpected this is. And it's one of those things that for the first time I had this thought. It's unexpected for Darth Vader to acknowledge the name Skywalker. And it's one of those cool little lines that I never really put much thought into. And there's a lot of history in that line. And I just think that's really, really cool. Here's a couple of cool little behind the scenes things. I mean, look, there's tons of them, and please, if you have more, if you have more little cool things, leave them down in the comments. We'll talk about it. I'm sure there's going to be people that have never seen or noticed some of these things before. So feel free in the comment section if you want to do this. But one of my favorite ones is when, in the shield generator, when they get trapped, Ben Burt comes out and says, freeze. And, Han throws a box of charges or whatever, and it knocks him over the railing. But that's Ben Burt. Ben Burt did all the sounds in all of Star Wars, all of the Indiana Jones movies, well, up to at least Last Crusade. He did WALL-E. He's my hero. Ben Burt is seriously one of my heroes. Sound design, amazing stuff, and I got to meet him, and it was kind of cool. So it's cool to see him in at that time. There's a couple of interesting little, especially now that I've helped make a movie, right? It's interesting how you kind of see how the movie was probably put together, and in editing they were like, we really need we need some extra shots here to kind of fill out the battle, and there's a shot from the perspective, almost like the top of the shield generator, right? So it's almost like if you can imagine a camera on top, and it shows a couple of ATSTs, and it shows some guys on the left-hand side and some guys on the right-hand side. And the guys on the right-hand side are obviously matted in. They are rotoscoped in, and it looks terrible. It's one of those things I'd never noticed before until like a recent rewatch in 4K. It was like, wow, that looks terrible. That looks really, really bad. And it's weird how the more you pay attention to that stuff and the more you notice it, the more you see it everywhere. I mean, even the shot from earlier from Rex, it's obvious that these are like cardboard cutout type people that are they're just put in the frame. And it's interesting to see at that time how they put this movie together. And I just think that's cool. Now, this is a controversial thing here, okay? So it's when Vader says no, and he picks up the Emperor and he tosses him down the laundry chute, or it's not a laundry chute, whatever that pit is, right? And he dies. Anyway, I'm not making the case that the no is necessary, but I will say that after watching the Clone Wars and the Phantom Menace and all the prequels, right? And the Clone Wars, there's something that happened to me. And it changed my view of that scene. And it gave me like context into what Vader was thinking at the time. And so it was almost like he was remembering being a hero. He was remembering Padme. He was remembering being a good guy. And it's weird how, after like I said, I've seen this movie so many times, right? And it affected me in a way that never had affected me before. So it was really kind of strange to feel that, and even on this re-release in the theater, I felt it again, and it was just like it was a cool feeling. And it's just, I guess, the power of movies, the power of Star Wars. I don't know what you want to call it, but it really affected me. Now, as you know, I think many Star Wars fans, they've seen these movies 10 times, 50 times, 100 times. I don't even know how many times I've seen this movie. It's a lot though. But it's weird how you don't sometimes, like when you put it on, you're not really watching it. You're not really paying attention. You're not 100% locked in. In the theater, you are. You are completely locked in. And that's one of the best things about this re-release is that you're almost forced to pay attention, and you see things that you hadn't seen before. I think that's really, really cool. So if you're asking me, is it worth going to see this in the theater again 40 years later? Absolutely. There's nothing like, almost being, like I said, forced into watching it and experiencing it again and hearing people laugh at some of the jokes. And it's like have you seen this movie before? But it's, a lot of people just hadn't seen it in a very, very long time. So it's really cool to experience that in the theater again, be forced to really take the movie in and watch it. I had a great time. And it's playing through May 4th in many different theaters. And we were able to see it in a very, like I said, at the XD screen at Cinemark, very large format. It was awesome. It was awesome. And I highly, highly recommend it. But what do you guys think of Return of the Jedi? Is it worth Is it worth it to you to go see it again? Let me know down below. And again, if you have any thoughts about the movie or little behind the scenes things that you think is cool or little Easter eggs that you want to share, leave them down in the comment section and we will talk about it because I love that stuff. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching and we'll see you on the next one.